The Bills, Colin, they're kicking off a post-Sean McDermott era, and OTA started up on Tuesday. Signs of the change are visible throughout the facility. Joe Brady has changed up, got a new mantra, put the ball down. We know coaches love those statements and post them all over the walls. According to Deion Dawkins, their left tackle, there's a new vibe and energy that is definitely different. It's not apples to apples because Mike Brown was not on the Knicks staff, but when you fire Tibbs from the Knicks, you've been good, and you were just in the conference.
That's right.
The bar is really high for Joe Brady. Now, he's already been there, and he's already proven his unit, the offense, has kind of carried the team. The question with this team, ironically, of firing Sean McDermott was the defense, and he's a defensive guy. Joe Brady can't really fix that, though he brought in, Rex Ryan's longtime safety, Jim Leonard.
Yeah.
Really, really smart and Big Ten guy, been in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's going to be on him because we know, if Josh is healthy, heck, he had a bad playoff game and they were still putting up points, in Denver.
Well, listen, Tibbs and Sean McDermott's a good comp because Tibbs was getting them and winning playoff series. The difference between a defensive coach, and they're wound pretty tight, and an offensive coach that are very creative. We've seen this. Mike Tomlin, great coach, felt a little outdated at the end. Pete Carroll, defensive coach, outdated. Sean McDermott, very good coach. You didn't trust him in big spots offensively late. I've said this before. Offensive coaches age better. And I think a lot of it is because to be a great offensive coach like Sean Payton and Andy Reid, you have to be an innovator and a creator. Where a defensive coach is blow stuff up. Fast.
Yeah.
So my takeaway of the many advantages that an offensive coach in Buffalo over a defensive coach, there's just a different sensibility in the room. There's a certain language. Brady he wouldn't do it publicly, but he would do it privately about Belichick. Belichick is a really smart guy, but there's a reason Brady was calling 3 times a day in the offseason Josh McDaniels. There is a different language to offensive coaches, and I think so. I really believe Buffalo's offense will be better. Do they lose a little on the defensive side? It just depends on if their draft picks this year and last year hit.
From Joe Brady's, I watched his opening press conference. I talked to him briefly when I was at the Combine. He's kind of sold me. I think he's a really impressive guy. He's kind of, honestly, he feels much more like a guy that would be a star currently in college football, kind of young and hip, like a Dan Lanning type. Yeah. But he's been an NFL guy, which, Sean Payton, he gave reverence. This can be difficult when you fire a coach who was clearly well-liked in the locker room. I think it's an easy transition because he kind of said, Sean McDermott's the reason I'm here. It's not like he comes in acting like everything this guy did was a failure. So I'm buying a lot of as we sit here today, they're my pick to be in the Super Bowl for the AFC.
I love this. This has been my consistent take about Joe Brady all along. There is a difference between being the coordinator and being the head coach when you're still inside the same building. Obviously, we know in general the difference between a coordinator and a head coach. We've seen coordinators get hired to be head coaches elsewhere and it doesn't work out, and so on. That's a separate conversation. But the whole thing, and we've seen a lot of these takes on First Things First and elsewhere, where people ask, what have the Bills really done? They already had Brady, blah blah blah. Here's the point, this offense will be even better simply by virtue of Brady moving from coordinator to head coach. Josh Allen, I fully believe, will experience a different relationship, growth, and impact on the offense with Brady because of that promotion. Also, I do think Brady will be able to influence the offense and have a better relationship because he's now the head coach. So he's going to have a better relationship with the offensive coordinator than when he was the coordinator himself, because that coordinator now answers to Sean McDermott, but Brady as head coach sets the tone. So I really love everything the Buffalo Bills are doing. Is it the biggest swing? I love the Jalen Waddle acquisition and making moves like the Rams have done. Yes, those are big, grand, prominent, awesome moves. I truly love them. I truly think they're going to be great, special, awesome. I can't say that exact same statement about the Buffalo Bills. I can't look at them and say, man, this team is stacked. Because I look at the Rams and I think, that team is stacked, they have elite coaching, and there you go. The rest is just about health. I can't say that as firmly about the Bills. But what I can say firmly is that if the Buffalo Bills are healthy, of course, with Josh Allen, if their foundation is simply good because Josh Allen will be great, then they will be elite. I think Josh Allen is such a force multiplier that when you just have the foundation taken care of, when you just don't have liabilities, whether with receivers, defense, culture, practice, any of that stuff, as long as you take care of the liabilities, when you have Josh Allen, it's going to be a force multiplier. That's what I feel like the Bills are in the process of doing. They're just plugging up the holes in the ship rather than trying to build a whole new boat. Or trying to add all the other fancy stuff you can put on a boat. That's what the Rams are doing. That's what the Ravens are trying to do to a degree, depending on which path they take with Max Crosby and which direction they go. That's what the Broncos are doing. But it's been a slightly different path for the Bills, and I'm really excited to see what it all shapes up to be. I had a lot of confidence in the Bills. Then I started thinking to myself, should I have confidence in the Bills right now? Or am I setting myself up to be disappointed? Do I think they're better than they actually are? I was really tossing and turning with that, really chewing on it. Then I hear Dion Dawkins speak. Again, a lot of this stuff is sometimes just something you say. Sometimes you actually honestly feel it as a player. But at the end of the day, it only means so much. You either can compete, you either can bring it on the field, or you can't. I don't care how you feel in April. Can you get to the quarterback in November? Can your receivers catch the ball? Can you block and buy Josh Allen time? Can you do that or not? I don't care what the energy is like in April. But those things still do matter to a large degree as well, so I'm not completely dismissing them, just emphasizing that it's not everything. The more I think about it, the more I realize that my initial take about Brady, because at first I really wanted a big exciting swing from a coaching perspective. I was excited at the idea of bringing in a Mike McDaniel or something like that. I was excited about the idea of a Ben Johnson, a Shanahan, that type of coach with Josh Allen. That ultimately would have excited me the most. So initially, keeping Brady there made me think, what else does that do for Josh? How do we get this offense to the next level? How do we make the offense easier for Josh Allen? Then you look at the moves they've made, DJ Moore and others, and obviously the draft is coming up. But the more I thought about it and the more I aired out I started to like this move of elevating Brady to head coach. The more I sat on it, the more I believed that Brady is going to be an even better offensive coach now that he's the head coach. And the more I aired that take out, the more I believed it, even more than I initially said. That was really one of my earlier takes once the dust settled after Brady was hired. Then hearing John Middlecoff say some of the things he was saying about his conversations with Brady just reinforced that belief as well. I thought, yeah, that take I had before, that is the take. I'm sticking to it, and I'm not moving off it until proven otherwise. So that's where I'm at right now. Josh Allen is a force multiplier, they're adding pieces, and as long as you don't have liabilities, you don't just become a contender or a great team, you easily become a special team. You easily become a special team. Think about when the Bengals had a bad offensive line in 2024. Joe Burrow didn't make the playoffs, but he played out of his mind that year. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes. If you have the right coach, good enough receivers, and a tight end like Travis Kelce, you're going to put up 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. As long as you check the boxes, it doesn't have to be special or otherworldly or Hall of Fame level. As long as you check the boxes, you're going to see greatness. You're going to see special. You're going to see awesome. The Bills did not have those boxes checked last season. They didn't. I feel like they are on the path to doing that. And as long as they just check those boxes, we typically tend to see historically great seasons from Josh Allen. I think that has been very true. So that's ultimately where I'm at right now with the Buffalo Bills. I'm excited to see the command that Brady has over Josh Allen because I'm all about accountability. People have yelled at me for saying that a coach needs to hold Lamar accountable, and it became a whole big thing. Everyone knows I think Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL, truly special and great and awesome, one of the best to ever do it without a shadow of a doubt. But he needs someone to hold him accountable. Just like every coach and every quarterback does. I'm excited to see what that looks like with Brady as the head coach, because it'll be the first time Josh has an offensive coach as his head coach. I do think you're in a position to hold your quarterback more accountable when you're the head coach than when you're just the coordinator. In a weird way, if you're a coordinator with a quarterback at Josh Allen's level, I don't think that coordinator can hold you as accountable as the true head coach can. It seems like it wouldn't matter that much. Well, that's the head coach of the offense, I get that, but it's a little bit different. It's a lot different, honestly. So I'm really fascinated to see what that change in relationship dynamic alone can offer. I'm telling you, be on the lookout. T for that. I'm telling you that's something. I'm telling you. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen and the difference? Are you buying or selling the Bills? Do you agree with Middlecoff that they're going to the Super Bowl? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you be part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.